everyone. You are listening to WCBN 88.3 FM Ann Arbor. I'm Jeffrey Chan alongside Jerry Gusenberg. We apologize for the late start. We had a bit of a broadcast malfunction. We are bringing you the Michigan baseball game today against Bowling Green. We are now in the bottom of the third inning. Currently batting right now is number 4. Akeo Thomas leading off, the leadoff hitter. We currently have a runner on second, actually. A stolen base by Jack Bloomgren has now. So Michigan is now threatening with a runner on second, nobody out. The score is currently 1-0 Bowling Green. A single in the top of the second got Bowling Green on the board, but Michigan is now threatening. Pitching for Bowling Green is Tyler Anderson. He is 1-3 on the year with a 9.87 ERA. However, he has largely kept Michigan's offense in check.
Yeah, so they're having a mound meeting here. We can just start from the top, really, because Akeo Thomas is up right now. He is the leadoff batter, so it's kind of nice that we start the broadcast pretty much from the top. So while they have this meeting, I can go into some stuff about Akeo Thomas here. He struck out his first at-bat swinging, did not look very good at the plate, but he has reached base safely in all 17 games this year for the Wolverines. Yesterday he did not have a great game, going 0 for 5, but the day before he did have himself a game. I believe he went, let me see for a sec, 3 for 4 and a walk and a run scored. So this is, one of their better guys. In terms of on-base percentage, he's third in the team this year, trailing Dominic Clemente and Brock Keener. So this is a guy definitely gets on base a lot, and we're going to see if he can keep the streak going here.
And a stolen base attempt, and Blomgren is in.
Well, on that one, it was a little bit of a wild pitch there. Blomgren took off, catcher got it quickly, and Mott threw it over to third and did not get him in time because third baseman Doherty dropped the ball, so he was able to safely get into third there with no outs. So Thomas now just looking to put the ball in play, find some way to get him home, tie this game up at 1. I mentioned Thomas reaching the base safely in all 17 games this year. He reached base last year in the 38 consecutive games. So this is definitely a guy that gets on base quite a lot, puts the ball in play.
And we have a ball for a 4-pitch walk, and that now puts Akeo Thomas on first base. We now have runners on first and third, no outs. Tyler Anderson struggling a little bit here in the bottom of the third, and that will now bring Dominic Clemente to the plate.
Clemente's got 2 hits this series in 8 at-bats. He got an RBI, has a couple walks, only 1 walk, and then a run scored. Just again, really just got to put the ball in play here. Obviously, you don't want to hit into a double play, but 1-0, you just got to find a way to get the runner from third home here. So if you're Clemente, you're just really trying to put the ball in play, hopefully get it up in the air.
Yeah, offense has been a huge struggle for Michigan this year. In part, that has large part contributed to its poor start. Clemente batting .244 on the season. He is 0-1 on the day so far.
Yeah, it has been a pretty tough start of the year here for Michigan in terms of they had to play on the road. This is their first series at home. And they did actually drop their home opener, unfortunately, which was their first time dropping the opener since 2013. And that loss was to Lawrence Tech, 8-3 last Wednesday. But this is their first home series. Won the first 2 against Bowling Green, trying to sweep it right here. That would be a great thing to do for the Wolverines.
And a ground ball to second base, and Bowling Green's going to turn a double play on that. Blomgren does score, but a double play for Bowling Green.
Yeah, if you're Bowling Green, that's what you want. But at least, not worst case scenario. A strikeout would have been worse, and then the double play. At least you get it there. You put a run on the board. 1-1, always the first run is always the hardest. Once you get that one, you know what can happen after that. You got your hottest player out right now, Jonathan Engelman, coming up. So you know, if you're Michigan, obviously that's unfortunate. You got double play, but at least you got to run on the board, tie this ball game up.
So we are now tied up 1-1. Jonathan Engelman comes up to the plate. He singled in his first at bat.
Yeah,
Michigan's best hitter, hitting .299 on the season.
Yeah, and Engelman went 3 for 3 yesterday, got on base 5 times. The day before, 2 for 4. Yeah, singled in this at bat today. He is just killing it right now. I mean,
and we have a hit by pitch. Looks like a slider just got away from Tyler Anderson, and that will put Engelman on first base.
Yeah, and that's not even the worst thing. If you're Tyler Anderson, you're totally fine with that. I mean, obviously it wasn't intentful. It was a breaking ball. I didn't try to hit him. But, you know, honestly, the way that Engelman's been hitting recently, being on first base isn't really the worst thing. Could be on second, third. You know, you never know what could have happened with this guy because he has been on base much more than he has not this series. So, you know, it's not that bad to hit him and get him on first base. You know, deal with Matthew Schmidt coming up right now.
Yeah, and Engelman, goes on, but a foul ball by Matthew Schmidt. It looked like a designed hit and run on that, but regardless, a foul ball, and Engelman will return to first base.
Yeah, I'm interested to see here what this battle is with Schmidt and Anderson, because last time when he was up, it was a 3-0 start to Matthew Schmidt, and then he ended up striking him out 3 pitches later, but he was very worried about Engelman. Engelman 4 for 6 stolen bases on the year. Just tried to steal one there.
And Schmidt hits a bloop single into right field. That falls, and the throw to third, and he is out at third. Wow. Engelman out there. Scott with a beautiful throw from right field. Gets Engelman trying to stretch. Going from first to third, and that'll be the end of it. A great play by Scott to get the out and prevent this inning from going on any longer. And Bowling Green escapes this, only giving up 1 run. And we now head to the top of the 4th. We are tied 1-1.
I mean, yeah. So they don't want to make they say you don't want to make your third out at third base, but that was just a great throw there by Jeff Scott. I mean, look right off the bat, a little bloop single into right field. You're thinking, all right, Engelman's making it to third easily, and then just chucks it one hop right to the third base. And Doherty puts the tag on him and gets him pretty easily. But that involved a perfect throw in order to get him, and a perfect throw is exactly what they got. So 1-1. 1-1 is tie score as we go into the top of the 4th here.
Well, Michigan certainly wished for more. They will take the 1 run. The offense has certainly been hard to come by for them, but they will take it. We now head to the top of the 4th, where Dragani will head back out. Dragani's looked all right so far. He had a tougher second inning where he gave up a few singles that led to a run for Bowling Green. However, he has largely been his usual efficient self, attacking the zone. A lot of strikes and certainly letting Bowling Green players hit the ball into play and letting his defense work for him.
Yeah, well, let's talk about Dragani real quick. I mean, he is a 19-year-old freshman lefty making his first start for the Michigan Wolverines. He has appeared in 5 relief appearances this year. He had 1 4-inning scoreless relief appearance with 3 strikeouts and no hits against the then number 8 ranked Stanford Cardinals. So that was his best performance of the season. But yeah, this guy, they have high hopes for him. He's one of the 14 new players added to the roster for the Wolverines. 12 freshmen added after they lost 15 players from last year, including a record 11 to the Major League draft for the Wolverines. So they really have high hopes for this kid. He had, in addition to being, a great baseball player, he was 2017 Gatorade Player of the Year for baseball in Wisconsin, 2007 All-State First Team. But he's also a National Honor Society member at Catholic Memorial High School, and he also is enrolled in the Ross School of Business at Michigan. So a smart kid in addition to being a great ball player.
We now start at the top of the 4th with Ty Sunken, who singled in his first at bat. He fouled off the first pitch, and second pitch is a ground ball to third, but easy for Nelson to get the out, and a quick 2-pitch first out certainly what you want is always to get the lead batter out to start the inning. And Sunken, who has a bit of speed and scored the run for Bowling Green, is now out on a ground out to Blake Nelson.
Yeah, he just kind of waved his bat out there, got way on top of the ball, and rolled it over to third base. We've seen a lot of that today so far, especially in the part of Michigan. But a lot of rolling over, a lot of ground balls here this afternoon.
Then out brings out the catcher, Justin Mott. Mott 0 for 1 on the day, batting 182 on the season.
Yeah, but last year he did hit 291. This is a small kid, 5'9", 156, the senior from Amherst, Ohio here. And he started to pick it up a little bit this series, 2 for 3, has 3 RBIs in the past 2 games. So, I mean, he is Mott. Yeah, we'll see what he can do. Small kid though, so trying to put the ball in play, get a little single over here.
He is in a one. The count is now 1-2 after a foul ball down the third base line. 1-2 pitch is looks like a changeup in the dirt. The count is now 2-2.
Yeah, so Mott actually just picked up his first 3 RBIs of the season this series, and he now has 43 at bats. So it took him a while, but finally got himself on the board there in the RBI department.
And swing strike 3. I think there was a little bit of confusion on the Michigan side. Some people thought
Brock Keener went over there and tossed the ball, rolled it down to the mound, and started walking off the field. Didn't realize that that was only the second out of the inning.
Yeah, Keener thought it was 3 outs. There are actually 2. That'll now bring out Jake Wilson to the plate, the center fielder. Wilson also singled in his first at bat, an RBI single and a bunt attempt here goes down, foul down the third baseline. Seen quite a few bunt attempts today by both sides, but that one does not go.
Yeah, so this kid just 1 at bat in the series, also walks, so 2 plate appearances. He has 1 run scored this series. He's a 6'1", 180-pound sophomore from Ontario, Canada, actually. So last year was named the MAC Freshman of the Year, where he led Bowling Green in batting average with batting .305, on base percentage .387, RBIs with 31, and he's got some speed. He led the team in stolen bases last year with 8. So this is definitely one of the better players here coming into his sophomore year. They have high hopes for him. We'll see what he's got today. Hasn't played much this series.
The 0-2 pitch and a curveball is just missed inside. Looked good, but umpire not giving it to Dragani.
Yeah, and so as we said, he's off to a rough start this year, batting 158. Just 3 hits, but in limited time. He's only played in 6 games. Started all 6. So it's just really looking to get into a groove here. Bowling Green does expect him to be one of their better players, especially after his incredible freshman year. So we'll see if he gets it going.
And a strike 3 called, and that'll be the end of the inning. At the top of the 4th inning, Dragani gets out a 1-2-3 inning for him. And we now head to the bottom of the 4th, where Jordan Wogu will lead off, and followed by Blake Nelson and Miles Lewis.
Yeah, so let's just take this time, I think, to talk about Tyler Anderson, the pitcher for Bowling Green, because we weren't able to do that earlier in the day. So Tyler Anderson, unlike 19-year-old Dragani over here, he's a redshirt senior, almost 23 years old. He'll be 23 in May. Right-hander, 6'2", 178 from Lima, Ohio. Last year ranked 2nd on the team in innings pitched with 75.1. 2nd on the team in strikeouts as well with 44. Served as a Friday starter. So, unlike Ben Dragani, who's making his first collegiate start, this guy is used to the starting role. Was the Friday starter last year. Last year went 2-8 with a 4.54 ERA. This year so far hasn't gone too well for him. 1-3 this year. His last time out, he pitched 5.1 innings where he gave up 5 earned runs and had 5 strikeouts in a losing effort. But he's looked pretty good out there today. He's gotten the guys he needs to get out whenever Michigan's been threatening. He's figured out how to really limit the damage. Last inning was the biggest inning for Michigan, and when there was 1st and 3rd, nobody out, he got that ground ball double play, limited damage to 1. and got out of there pretty much unscathed. So now he's gonna have to deal with Jordan Nwogu though, who's been killing it the past few days, especially this series. So he is this guy is killing it recently. Only 9 at bats coming into the game today, but 5 for 9, really making the most of his time, and so that's a good way to get yourself in the lineup more often.
And a first pitch fastball is a swing and miss by Nwogu.
Yeah, Nwogu, he's 1 for 1 today. Had a bunt single actually. Guy with so much power over here. Had a home run a couple days ago. Guy's playing back. Play a little small ball, find a way on base. So now batting, 600, and that's going to make it even better as Nwogu hits a ground ball down the line for a base hit. He's going to turn it into a double, it looks like here.
Yeah, Nwogu with a leadoff double. He has certainly been a force on the offensively, and he leads it off again. His second hit of the day, this time a double, and Michigan is now threatening early.
Yeah, if I'm the third baseman over there, I'm thinking, man, this guy bunts one down the line. I'll play a little in, maybe see if he bunts it again, and then bam, crushes one right down the line, almost knocked off Darty's head over there. So, I mean, Nwogu's just feeling it right now. He's 7 for 11 now in the season, and I get limited at bats, everything, but the way this guy's playing now, you really can't take him out of the game. You gotta give him some more ABs. He's freshman, so hasn't really shown much of what he can do in the past, but he is just killing it right now.
This brings up now Blake Nelson, who will now try to advance Nwogu or possibly drive him in with a base hit. Nelson grounded out to third base in his first at bat.
Yeah, Nelson, 3 RBIs here on the year, trying to get his 4th.
And a bunt attempt, and Anderson will field and throw him out at first, but he does the job on the sacrifice bunt and advances Nwogu to third. So a quality at bat for Blake Nelson, and Nwogu is now 90 feet away from home plate, and now that brings up Miles Lewis, who has a chance to drive him in for a RBI and for Michigan to take the lead.
Yeah, I love those kind of at bats. You got runner on second, nobody out, tie ball game. A guy in Blake Nelson who's 16 at bats now in the year, kind of not too many. Just find a way to get the guys from second to third. Give yourself a chance. Give Brock Keener a chance to, Miles Lewis, to get him home with a sac fly. What a productive at bat there. Bunt it to the right side. Get him to third. Love it.
First pitch is a strike, a fastball in the outside corner.
Yeah, that was a little high, a little outside. Don't know if I agreed with that one necessarily, but it is a home plate umpire Stephen Linton's call and not mine, so I can't really. I guess I gotta protect that outside corner these days.
And goes back again with a fastball on the outside corner. That one a little too far outside for a ball 1.
Yeah, Miles Lewis so far 0 for 1, grounded out to third his last at bat. Yeah.
Anderson sets and delivers, and another called strike on the outside corner. 1-2 now. Anderson working heavily on the outside corner this at bat.
Yeah, Miles Lewis went 0 for 4 yesterday, and then did not play on Friday. So looking for his first hit of the series, or at least more, not even just a hit, just try to get a sac fly, try to hit a ground ball up the middle, infield playing back.
And another fastball in the outside corner. That one looked close, but home plate umpire not giving it to him. 2-2 count now.
Yeah, as I was saying just a second ago, so the second baseman and shortstop both playing on the outfield grass. So all he's got to do is hit one up the middle here. They're going to let him score. So just, slap the ball up the middle, find a way to get yourself your little RBI. He's got 12 RBIs in the year. It's just he knows how to put the ball in play and make things happen here for the Wolverines.
Swinging a foul ball down the first base line. Lewis battling. 2-2 count still. 1 out. Runner on third.
Yeah, Nwogu's got some speed. He showed it off a little bit in the outfield earlier. Made some nice plays. Also made a terrible play out there. But He's got the speed from third. He has 3 stolen bases, so anything sort of deep, we should see him tag up.
And Lewis hits a fly ball to center field. Should be deep enough to score Nwogu, and it will. And Michigan is now up 2-1 on the sacrifice fly from Lewis, and Nwogu will score. And Michigan is now up 2-1 now with 2 outs. And great situational baseball by there. Great at bat by Lewis to hit for the sacrifice fly. Got the job done, and he gets to the RBI.
Yeah, it's exactly the kind of approach you want to have there. You want to think up the middle, especially because shortstop and second base both playing on the outfield grass. You know, just get up the middle, don't pop it up, and you're going to do a good job. Stays on it, hits it right on the barrel, hits it pretty far out there to that 395. 395 sign. Center fielder Jake Wilson really went back to very far back. I thought it might be over his head at first, but he wound up making the play, tossed it in nice and easy sack fly there for Miles Lewis. It was a great piece of hitting by him.
Brock Keener up now, struck out swinging the first time, and he hits a grab ball. A great play by the shortstop Lambert, and gets Keener out at first base. Bang, bang play. First base umpire said he got him by just a step. A great play by Lambert, and robs Brock Keener of a base hit. We now head, so that'll do it. Michigan gets 1 off the sacrifice fly by Miles Lewis, and Michigan, we now head to the top of the 5th. Michigan ahead 2-1.
Yeah, that was a very stellar play there by shortstop Neil Lambert. That ball was crushed up the middle. One hop, dives to his left, somehow makes the play, gets back up, and I mean, Brock Keener, not the fastest guy in the world, but he was running hard and threw it, got him by less than a step. I don't think Keener really thought he was out at first. Put up the safe sign when he was passing first base, but he did not argue. So it was definitely bang bang, close enough. Great play though by shortstop Neil Lambert, robbing Keener of a hit.
And Dragani will head back out there for his 5th inning of work now. Very efficient so far. His pitch count is only 48 pitches through 4 innings. As we said, he is a strike thrower. He will attack the plate. Not a lot of strikeouts, but he will certainly try. But he certainly throws a lot of strikes. Let the defense make plays for him. Coming up now for Bowling Green. Cam Doherty will lead it off, followed by the top of the order with Neil Lambert and Jeff Scott following. So now Doherty will come up to the plate. His first at bat, he grounded out
to first base. Yeah, hit it pretty hard, but right at first baseman Matthew Schmidt made a nice play, and actually had to dive over to first to get looked like a little league play there. Dove over to first, barely his outstretched glove beat the leg of Doherty and was able to get the out.
Oh, 1 pitch off speed by Dragani gets Doherty swinging and missing.
Yeah, that was a wave. That guy, he had no chance there. Totally was not expecting the off speed.
And pitch is wild, high and outside. Keener unable to catch it. That'll be first ball, and count is now 1-2. 1-2 pitch is an off-speed pitch, outside low.
Yeah, the way that I see Doherty kind of approaching the plate here, he's kind of leaning over a little bit and just putting his hands out there, almost trying to like slap it to right. I don't really think that's a great approach. And
a check swing, strike 3. Dragani gets him on the off-speed pitch in the dirt. Doherty just could not let up, and he gets caught check swinging, strike 3. The Bowling Green manager not very happy with that call, but regardless, it is a strike, another strikeout, the 5th out of the day now for Dragani.
Yeah, I think the problem, what he wanted was that he wanted home plate umpire Stephen Linton to just check in with first base umpire and make sure that it was actually a swing. But Linton did not do that. He just called it himself. So understandable for the frustration there. But regardless, I really don't think that Doherty really looked ready to go on that at bat. He kind of just flung his arms out there. Looked like he just wanted to hit a little dinker to right field, which is, his last at bat kind of did the same thing. Ended up hitting a ground ball to first base. But he looked very bad.
Neil Lambert up to the plate now, and he swings with a high fly ball into right field. That'll be caught by Lewis. 2 down now for Michigan, and Dragani again just looks like he is cruising.
Yeah, that ball looked like just an ordinary fly ball. It kept going for a while. I don't know. I really don't think the ball is supposed to carry too much, especially in March here in Ann Arbor. But that ball did have some carry to it, but not nearly enough. And Miles Lewis easily able to get under it for second out of the inning.
That brings up now Jeff Scott to the plate for his third at bat. He struck out swinging his first at bat. Second at bat he singled, hitting .257 on the season. And 1-0 pitch, swings and miss on the fastball to the outside corner. 1-1 now the count.
Yeah, Jeff Scott, a redshirt junior from Kirkland, Indiana, leads the team in home runs this year actually with 2, so definitely kind of a big swinger. Outfield really not playing too far back though, so probably don't think anything's happening really here.
Dragani comes back now, 1-2 pitch and swings, strike 3, and that'll do it for the top of the 5th inning. Dragani another 1-2-3 inning. Michigan 2, Bowling Green 1 as we head to the bottom of the 5th inning now.
Yeah, Jeff Scott, kind of a free swinger here. He leads the team by far. I mean, Neil Lambert has 17 strikeouts on the year. And besides that, the next lowest is 10. I mean, next highest is 10. Besides Jeff Scott, who has 25 strikeouts on the year. So this kid is kind of an all-or-nothing approach. He does have 2 home runs. He is a power guy. 12 RBIs, also leads the team coming into the game today. But I mean, 25 strikeouts, already has 2 strikeouts today, so make that 27 strikeouts on the season for Jeff Scott. Really got to cut down on the free swing because he waves at it and just goes for it all every time.
No, certainly, and we now head as we go to the bottom of the 5th now. Jack Blomgren will lead it off, followed by the top of the order with Akeo Thomas and Dominic Clementi. Blomgren in his only at bat of the day so far walked in the 3rd inning. Tyler Anderson so far, 4 innings pitched so far. His pitch count is currently at 57, so currently doing all right in terms of that area. Couple walks, 3 strikeouts, few hits. Yeah, no,
Anderson's looked good today. Really fooled a lot of guys, a lot of ground balls, really gotten a lot of ground balls. Couple unlucky ones. Jonathan Engelman with a little kind of dinker single up the middle. A little bunt base hit for Nwogu. So, I mean, not too. He gave that one hard hit down the line that Nwogu hit a double on. Besides that, there really has not been that many hard hit balls here against Anderson. So he has given up 2 runs, but it hasn't been as bad as it may look on the board.
First pitch swinging, and it's a ground ball to shortstop, but Lambert bobbles it, but still recovers a time to get him out at first base. Blomgren can't believe it. He thought he beat it out, but first base umpire
and he
disagrees.
Yeah, he has a good case there too. He beat it by a step at there. I don't really understand what first base umpire Michael Schultz was looking at. First base coach over there was also not really understanding that call either. Gave a little bow to his head, kind of shaking it like, what could you have possibly seen there? Shortstop Neil Lambert bobbled the ball, picked it up quickly, chucked it over to first, but Blomgren beat that one by a step. I really don't know what kind of call that was, what he didn't see, but he if he calls him out, therefore it's an out regardless of whether he beat it or not. So that's what it'll be for Blomgren, unfortunately.
Anderson's first pitch was a ball outside, and the second pitch now gets Akeo Thomas swinging on a fastball inside. 1-1 count now. Akeo Thomas in his first at bat struck out swinging. Second at bat walked.
Yeah, and that walk at his last at bat makes it now 18 straight games that to start this year that he's been on base, and put that together with the 38 consecutive games last year that he was on base. This man is a dangerous guy on the base paths too. So one of the top leadoff guys here, and he's on for Michigan Wolverines leadoff man.
So as a ball 3 inside. 3-1 count now. Akeo Thomas can now just a hitter's count, I should say, looking for the pitch that he likes most to swing at, and does get that pitch, but fouls it back. We have a full count now, 3-2.
Yeah, that pitch was a fastball right down the middle. Couldn't really ask for much more there, but was a little behind it actually. Didn't really make great contact, but fouled it off. A little ground ball to the right side, behind to the diagonal right behind home plate.
And here's the pitch, and a line drive down the first base line. Akeo Thomas tried to stretch it out for 2, and he will go in standing up for a double, a 1-out double. A great pitch, a great at bat by Akeo Thomas. A very hard hit line drive down the right field line, and Akeo Thomas with a double on the day, and Michigan now threatening with a runner in scoring position with 1 out, and now we have Dominic Clemente coming up to the plate.
Yeah, that was just a great piece of hitting by Akeo Thomas there. That was Anderson threw a nice hard slider almost. It kept cutting away at the end, down low and away, but 2 strikes. You just got to try to put the ball in play. And stayed with it, and Thomas line drive over the first baseman's head, cut down the right field line, and easily made it into second. Stand-up double. I thought, honestly, with his speed, he could have had a chance of going to third, but he jogged over to second once he passed first base. Kind of just thinking at the beginning, I'm not even going to try for third. I'm just going to get myself a double here with 1 out in the inning. So, kind of an interesting approach.
And Dominic Clemente loads a line drive up the single. Thomas will hold up at third.
Yeah, okay. That's another thing I really don't understand there. It was a great piece of hitting there by Clemente. Line drive up the middle, base hit to center. But you got Akeo Thomas over on second base, who he's rounding. When you're rounding third, you got to check out your third base coach and see what he's doing. Third base coach was at first waving him, and then he stopped him because Thomas was looking back at center field and jogging over to third base, kind of assuming, okay, I'm not going to go home. But you got to check out your third base coach. You got to be running as hard as you can, because he would have had a good chance at scoring if he would have gone hard right from the beginning. It was clearly going to be a single up the middle. And if you're Akeo Thomas, you got speed. You got to be checking out your third base coach right away and getting a good jump, good turn, and see if you can score. So at least pretty bad base running, I would say, on the part of Akeo Thomas. But they do have their best hitter right now, Jonathan Engelman, up.
Engelman up the plate now. Thomas on third. Clemente, and a ground ball up the middle. Diving by the second baseman, trying to turn 2. Will not get there in time. And Akeo Thomas will score. RBI for Jonathan Engelman. Great play, though, by the second baseman, Drewis, to save a base hit and was able to get the force out at second. So we now have a runner on first with 2 outs now. Akeo Thomas does score, and it's now Michigan 3, Bowling Green 1.
Yeah, there was a similar approach to his last at-bat for Engelman, where he was trying to hit something up the middle, make something happen. And unfortunately, they were playing more up the middle than they were last time when he hit a little soft ground ball up the middle. This one was hit pretty hard. But second baseman Derek Draves was playing right there and dove, made a nice snap to get it. It went right over the second base bag. Was able to flip it over to short. Neil Lambert got the force out at second. By the time he went to go to first, Engelman was just too quick and was able to beat it out. So Akeo Thomas scores from third. Michigan takes the lead 3-1.
So Schmidt now up to the bat, looked at ball 1. Here comes the pitch. Anderson delivers, and is a fastball on the outside called strike 1.
Yeah, that's a great pitch right there. Make him do what Akeo Thomas did a couple of bats ago, and drive one into right field. You can't roll that one over. You can't do much with that ball except for just try to hit a line drive to right. So that's a great fastball right there, outside corner, hitting his spot. It's exactly what you want to do if you're Tyler Anderson.
And Anderson checks to first base, just trying to keep Engelman honest.
Yeah, they've really been checking out Engelman today. His the third time on base here for Engelman, and he's attempted to steal once, but they've kept throwing back. They're really worried about him out there on the base paths.
Anderson checks again. Engelman not really taking much of a lead, but regardless, Anderson does not want him to give any sort of jump.
Yeah, and if you're Matthew Schmidt, you're thinking, all right, he's such an eye over here on Engelman. One eye on him, one eye on me. Let me take advantage here. Maybe he'll make a mistake, not really thinking too much about me, and crush one here.
And Schmidt fouls one back. Count was now 1-2.
Pitch was low and away. More of a pitcher's pitch there. And Schmidt looked a little defensive there. Tried to throw his bat out there and tap it as if he had 2 strikes. But so interesting approach there for Schmidt. But now he has 2 strikes. Now he really has to protect here against Anderson, who's looked pretty good, really hitting his spots in the outside corner especially.
Anderson delivers, and it's a hit by pitch. And a fastball looks like, or a slider maybe, that got away from Anderson, and Schmidt gets bailed out in a disadvantaged count, and now it's a free base for him. Runners on first and second with 2 outs, and a demoralizing pitch for Tyler Anderson, who had him on the ropes and then just got away from him. Now brings up Jordan Nwogu to the plate, and Michigan is still threatening in this inning.
Yeah, well, so on that last play there, Jonathan Engelman was stealing the base. So I think it kind of rattled Anderson because he's taken so much time trying to make sure Engelman stays put. So I think it rattled him, didn't hit his spot, and hit the batter. So I think that was all Engelman there with that hit by pitch. Yeah, and then here Anderson goes again, checking on Engelman at second base. He is very, very worried about him. You just got to concentrate on the batter here with 2 outs.
Anderson looks and steps off now. Nwogu is 2 for 2 on the day with a single and a double. So trying to go 3 for 3 now on the day for him.
Yeah, this is not the guy you want to face right now for Tyler Anderson. Hottest guy on the team, maybe Engelman, maybe this guy. But 2 hits in each of the last 2 games, 2 hits today. So that makes 6 hits here on the series, including a huge home run. And he also has 6 RBIs on the series as well. So this freshman just started to play recently. 7 for 11 here to start his big league college career. So this is definitely not the guy you want to be facing right now after Tyler Anderson.
Anderson got Nwogu to swing on a off-speed pitch for strike 1. Anderson now getting ready to deliver second pitch, and Nwogu swings again, fouled down the third baseline. 0-2 count now on Jordan Nwogu.
Yeah, that ball was fouled by a couple feet, but for a second that one looked like some real big trouble. Hit it pretty hard down the line. Could have been a couple runs there, especially with left fielder Ty Sunken really was not playing that far down the line. I really don't know why, because he's really Nwogu's been pulling the ball the past couple at bats. So Sunken's now moved over a little bit for this pitch.
Anderson sets, looks at second now, and steps off.
Yeah, Engelman's really playing around here with Anderson. Every time he looks back, he takes a little bit more of a lead, and then he goes a little bit back, and then he's kind of tap dancing out there. It's really screwing with Tyler Anderson's head right now.
Anderson sets, delivers 0-2 pitch, and fastball the outside corner, trying to get Nwogu to chase that. Didn't bite. 1-2 count now.
Yeah, it's a very, very similar pitch to the ones he's been throwing this inning. He's been hitting the spot usually on the low outside corner recently, but that one just missed a little too far outside.
Anderson sets, now delivers 1-2 pitch, and gets Nwogu swinging on the off-speed pitch. Great pitch. Got him swinging. Nwogu had no chance, and that will do it. Michigan leaves 2 on base, and we now head to the top of the 6th. Michigan 3, Bowling Green 1.
Yeah, that was a great pitch there by Tyler Anderson to get out of it. Breaking ball started in the zone. Been throwing a lot of fastballs recently, so it really seemed like he was going to continue that trend. And then all of a sudden, the ball just ended up out of the zone, and they really got Nwogu on that one. And he just whiffs at it, kind of throws his hands out there, doesn't put money body into it, and he really didn't have much of a chance.
Absolutely tough at-bat there for the Wolverines, but they'll look to get things going again in the top half of the sixth behind Ben Dragani, who has been dominant thus far. 6 strikeouts, no walks on 1 run not earned across 5 innings of work, 5 hits for the lefty. His funky delivery really throwing off this Bowling Green team so far. Starts on the right side of the rubber, but works his way across.
Yeah, he has. He's really been fooling around with these batters here. A couple hard hit balls today, but for the most part, he's gotten a lot of ground balls, couple little fly balls. Not much damage really happening here for Dragani today.
And coming up this half, he'll be starting off with Brad Croy, the junior from Glanford, Ohio. 1 for 2 on the day so far. Got a single, but nothing of it in the 3rd inning. Comes up again now. He'll be leading off the 6th for Bowling Green.
Yeah, that's another thing that Michigan's done a good job today of doing, is limiting the damage. 5 hits today for Bowling Green, but only that 1 run in the 2nd inning. Every time runners get on, they've seemed, Dragani especially, find some way to either strike out the batter, put the ball in play. Good defense today, apart from that 1 little miscue out there by Nwogu in left field.
Start the half, Dragani delivers a curveball over the middle of the plate, strike 1.
Yeah, the curveball's really been seeming to work here today for him. Getting it over the plate, really fooling guys.
Comes back with a fastball that misses low and a little bit inside. The 1-1, Dragani quick to work, really wasting no time in between pitches, gets his sign, gets into his delivery. The 1-1 down the middle, hit down the third base line. 5-6 hole, picked off by Nelson across the diamond, throws out Croy at first base. First out of the inning for the Wolverines.
Yeah, that was an incredible play there by Blake Nelson. That ball was crushed in the hole, in the 5-6 hole there. And Nelson with a diving stab, got the ball, turned around, stepped up, and gave it a little sidearm chuck over to first base. Dug out nicely there by Matthew Schmidt and got him by a step or two there.
An incredible effort by Blake Nelson, and on the next pitch, ball hit deep into right field by Ryder, but that is caught, no problem, by Miles Lewis out in the outfield. Second out of the inning for the Wolverines. Ben Dragani, another fairly quick inning thus far, attacking with the first pitch.
Yeah, that was a great job to just go right back out there and just start chucking strikes. Good piece of hitting there by Randy Ryder, I believe. But he didn't get enough air on it. Really, kind of didn't really get over the right fielder's head. And Miles Lewis was able to get under it and put it away for the second out of the inning.
Dragani unrattled by the hard contact in the first at-bat. Delivered a pitch down the middle. Another piece of hard contact, but it has not stopped him from attacking again. Gets ahead with the fastball on the outside half. 0-1 count. Dragani comes back now with a breaking ball. Gets across the middle. He now has Drews in an 0-2 count. The left-on-left battle to commence here.
Yeah, he's really been pounding the strike zone here. Already 0-2. I don't even think he's had a 3-ball count all day. And 6 strikeouts, only 1 run here, and he's killing it right now.
The 0-2 breaking ball from Dragani blooped up into right center field, but secured by Thomas for the final out of the inning. Dragani bounces back from the 2 pieces of hard contact to get a nice, soft blooper off the end of the bat to finish up the 6th for the Wolverines. Only 63 pitches through 6 for Dragani.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens when you pound the strike zone. He hasn't thrown too many balls. He's making them put the ball in play, which, they have 6 strikeouts, but whenever they put the ball in play, the defense is making the plays behind him. And it's been a pretty easy go for it so far for Dragani. In his first college start, he looks great.
And getting back to the defense making plays, something we haven't really seen from the Wolverines thus far. 4 errors in that crippling loss Wednesday against Lawrence Tech. Coach Bakich has talked extensively with reporters about his desire for the team to improve defensively and to show more effort and to have more fun doing things on the baseball field, and I think we've really seen that today from the Wolverines.
Yeah, I mean, especially that last play there by Blake Nelson at third base. That was an incredible stab there. They're making all the everyday plays they should be making are getting made. Apart from that one play, as I've said, in left field by Nwagu. But they look good out there today. I'll tell you that much. I get that it's a Bowling Green team who's 3-15 on the year. Hasn't won in their past 8 tries. Hasn't beaten Michigan the past 2 times either. But this is good for Michigan because with a tough start to the year, especially get out here, beat Bowling Green twice, get off to a nice lead here in the game, make the plays defensively, and really just give them some confidence going into the rest of this year and on this rest of this homestand.
And as we saw last night on the hardwood, a win is a win, however you get it. Always a great confidence booster. Speaking of confidence, Nelson steps into the box to lead off the inning, hoping to build off of his defensive excellence from the last inning. The first pitch, a ball down low from Tyler Anderson, now in his 6th inning of work. Second pitch swinging, fouled back, chopped by Nelson. Now a 1-1 count. The fastball that seemed to tail a little bit inside, jam him a bit.
Yeah, he barely got a piece of that one, grounded it just behind home plate. Nelson, his thing this series has been getting on base and scoring runs. 5 runs scored so far. So leading off the inning, trying to get on, make something happen, and score another one perhaps, which is what he's been doing this series.
As you said, Nelson looking to get on, takes a hearty hack through a fastball on the outside half of the plate to bring the count to 1-2. The ball fouled backwards. Anderson working in the stretch with no one on base. Has to step off the rubber as time is called by Nelson, but now gets back on, gets into his set. The 1-2 delivery, fastball up in the zone, swung through by Nelson, and he cannot build upon his defensive play from the last half. That's going to be the first out of the inning for the Wolverines.
Yeah, it was a solid 2-strike pitch there for Tyler Anderson. Had it up in the zone, and Nelson just swung through it. Really wasn't a good pitch to hit. It was a good pitcher's pitch, and I guess 2 strikes got to be swinging anything kind of close. And while it was a little up, that he got him. It was a good pitch.
Up now is Miles Lewis. He has gone 0 for 2 today, but secured an RBI early in the contest. Fouls off a fastball on the outer half of the plate. Lewis from North Dakota, an excellent prep player, played sparingly last year and has now stepped into a bigger role in the 7-hole.
Yeah, and to go off of the 0 for 2, he's actually 0 for 1. His last at-bat was a great sac fly there by where he did get out, but it was a great piece of hitting. Had a nice fly up the middle to score Nwogu from third, which gave them the lead at the time. So it was a great piece of hitting there by Miles Lewis, and trying to really just build off of that and find a gap here, get another hard hit ball.
He'll now look to fight out of a hole. 0-2 after a slurve sweeps across the plate. Anderson now into his set, looking to put away. Catcher sets up inside. Breaking ball catches the outside corner of the plate. Lewis, in a little bit of disbelief, but seemingly more oriented towards himself, now has to walk back to the dugout. Yeah. Great pitch by Anderson.
That was a great pitch. Definitely on the low outside corner. It was a close one. With 2 strikes, you probably got to swing at that one. But Lewis definitely did not think it was a strike. Didn't agree, but you got if Linton's calling them strikes, then you got to at least try to put the ball in play. Maybe foul that one off. That's definitely close enough where 2 strikes you got to swing.
And from the batter's perspective, with a righty starting on the left side of the rubber, that breaking ball almost seems to never cross the plate until it finally does at that last minute. Lewis gets rung up, and now into the box steps Keener. He gets behind 0-1 on a eerily similar breaking ball to the one just seen before. 0-1. Anderson decides to go back to it, misses outside, flies a little open, leaves it low and away to bring the count to 1-1.
Yeah, he's made a bunch of great pitches there. That wasn't one of them. That one never really had a chance, but a lot of great pitches so far this inning here for Anderson.
The 1-2 into the 3-4 hole, just by the diving Drews, off his glove, squirts into right field, a base knock for Brock Keener, the senior.
Yeah, Brock Keener, his first at-bat, he was waving at pitches, struck out terribly, looked terrible. His last 2 at-bats, he crushed one up the middle. Great play by Neil Lambert on that other one with a 1-hop that he dove and somehow got Keener out at first. And this time he crushed one in the 1-2 hole there. Nice try there by second baseman Derek Drews. He went off his glove, but it was a hard hit ball, then went into right field. Picked up by Jeff Scott, but a great piece of hitting there by Brock Keener.
Number 18, Jack Blomgren, the freshman, into the box now from Janesville, Wisconsin, looking to keep the inning going following the 2-out hit by Keener. First pitch a strike, I believe. Or excuse me, was there not a pitch?
I guess there wasn't a pitch.
Appears not to have registered.
No, it was a strike. It was a strike. I don't know what they were doing there.
Excuse me. Timeout was not granted. A strike on the scoreboard. The 0-1 count now. Fastball misses inside as Anderson flares open with his front half to bring the count to 1-1.
Yeah, Blomgren kind of got robbed of his last at bat. Nice play by shortstop Neil Lambert, diving play to get him out at first. But he hit it hard. His last at bat walked his first at bat, so he's looked pretty good at the plate so far today.
And Blomgren on the season hitting a mere 174 in his freshman campaign, but the hard contact has to be a welcome sight for the Michigan coaching staff and players alike. The third pitch of the at bat, a ball low and inside to Blomgren to bring the count to 2-1.
Yeah, and Blomgren showing signs here of potentially coming out of his early college slump here. Had 2 RBIs on Friday, 2 for 3 with an RBI and 2 walks, so reached base 4 times yesterday, and got on base first time, hit the ball hard his second time today.
And on the 2-1, Blomgren seems to swing himself out of his shoes, a little bit of an Adrian Beltre-esque look from up here to bring the count to 2-2. A fastball on the low and away corner, but as you said, Blomgren definitely looking to drive the baseball. You could see it with that swing there. Lots of intent to hit the ball a long way.
Yeah, he was doing more than just trying to hit the baseball hard. He was trying to get it over the softball field over there. That was a big swing there for Blomgren.
And on the 2-2, Blomgren has to watch his lips a little bit. A fastball that veers up and in to send the count full. And we've seen a lot of issues from the Bowling Green side this weekend on running fastballs. Now, not intentionally, but running them up near the heads and faces of these Michigan batters. A scary sight for anyone watching here today and this weekend.
Yeah, it's been kind of crazy actually how close these balls have been.
And the 3-2 effectively down the middle, but gets by Blomgren to end this half inning. We head to the top of the 7th. The Wolverines still leading 3-1.
Yeah, that was nothing special. Just a fastball right down the middle. Blomgren, I don't know what he was looking for, but I guess it wasn't a fastball down the middle because he was a little late on it, and just didn't even come close really. Swung and missed. So that'll do it for 6 innings. On to the final 3 here with Michigan leading 3-1.
And with the 9 here at the dish, the pitcher effectively seemed to say, "Here's my best, come and get it," but Blomgren was unable. We see Dragani now taking the mound for the 7th, slowly jogging out while his team waits. Dragani looking to keep the pace up and stay out on the mound where he has been so hot today. A mere 65 pitches through 6 innings. Truly efficient and successful out there today.
Yeah, and he's outplaying the last 2 starters for the Wolverines from the series. You got Tommy Henry starting on Friday, who gave up 6 earned, albeit it was in that one horrible second inning that he had. He did end up picking up the win, but only one earned run here for Dragani, so outplaying him. And then yesterday, Carl Kaufman took the mound. Lasted only 2 innings. It wasn't a bad performance, but he had a hamstring injury. So he's outplaying him as well. Word on Kaufman is he will be okay. It's just a minor injury, and he's expected to make his start for next week, in case anybody is curious about that. Jeff Criswell did come in and threw 5 innings, only giving up 2 earned, which still isn't as good as the 6 innings and 1 earned that Dragani has thrown out there today. So a dominant performance thus far from freshman Ben Dragani.
And definitely a welcome sign for Coach Bakich, as the team has struggled, save for yesterday, in relief roles. A lot of the team's issues, other than defense, as was stated earlier, have come from the bullpen not being very effective. In that first weekend series against Army, the starters gave up 1 run, and every single run otherwise was given up by the bullpen, but seemingly coming into form in yesterday's performance, but not needed today. A good sign, especially after the starter leaves early. Now the 0-1 from Dragani, fouled backwards by Suntkin, who is 1 for 2 on the day, had a single and came around in the 2nd and grounded out to 3rd in the 4th.
Yeah, if you're Michigan, this is best case scenario here. After yesterday, they had to really empty the bullpen. Today, you're hoping get as much out of your starter as you can, and he's responded with 60-something pitches here in 6+ innings. Hopefully, can ride this one out all the way. We'll see what happens.
and the pitch count should enable it, but it'll be interesting to see how far the Wolverines let their freshmen go. They have a singular man warming up in the bullpen right now, a right-handed pitcher, the number unsure. We have a 1-2 count now to Ty Suntken. Swings on a pitch on the outside half, dribbler to the shortstop, back corner throw by Blomgren, gets Suntken out at first base to record the first out of the inning.
Yeah, that was a nice play there by Blomgren. Kind of waved at by Suntken. Little nothing chopper, and really used his quick, smooth hands there. Got the ball out quickly from his glove. Did Blomgren, chucked it over to first and got him by a step or two.
And for a guy on the season who has not brought his best necessarily at the plate, a welcomed sight to see him contributing incredibly well on the defensive side of the baseball today.
Yeah, when you're a shortstop, you don't necessarily need to have the best offensive days. You just got to make the plays at short. Be that guy you can rely on the left side of the diamond.
The first pitch was a ball on the outside half of the plate, and the second pitch is a fastball again, swung at half-heartedly by Mott, floated down the left field line, lands just foul, luckily for Nwogu, as he was seemingly walking over to the baseball, really didn't have much intent of laying out for it, hoping it would go foul, and his prayers are answered. A 1-1 count now to Justin Mott, the catcher.
Nwogu looks like he really has not played left field very much today. And for that last foul ball, it was all arms there for the 5'9", 156-pound senior Justin Mott, who just dinkered it out there, a little blooper, but it did end up going foul.
On the next pitch, a quick chopper, one hop over to first base, gloved easily by Schmidt, who takes it himself to record the second out of the inning, and stepping into the box now is Jake Wilson, the center fielder. Single in his first at-bat, bringing in Suntken.
Yeah, so Wilson, who I was talking about last at-bat, the great year, MAC Freshman of the Year, led Bowling Green in batting average, on-base percentage, RBIs, and stolen bases. This year coming into today, just had 6 games, started 19 at-bats, so not really much work, not much to do, not much to show for either for Wilson.
A looping curveball by Dragani hit to second base to Thomas, who cleans it easily, throws over to Schmidt to end the inning. Ben Dragani, only 72 pitches still through 7 innings. Incredibly efficient. Again, keeping things rolling for the Wolverines, working fast. We head to the bottom of the 7th with Michigan leading 3-1.
Yeah, we've seen great work here on the part of Dragani. If anything, like, this is just a very good confidence booster for the youngster. Coming into his first start here, he's had a great 2.77 ERA coming into the day from relief, but you really didn't know you'd see from him on the mound. He hasn't done it before, and this is great to see if you're Michigan and Dragani for what he's got for the future.
And for a guy like Dragani, certainly not without his fair share of prep baseball success, the Gatorade Player of the Year in Wisconsin, first team All-State to go along with that, a perfect game, the Scouting Service honorable mention, All-American throughout the country, contributing to this top-ranked recruiting class for Michigan to replenish the stock after the loss of 11 players to the Major League Baseball draft.
Yeah, and as we all stand up here to sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" here in the bottom of the 7th inning, 3-1 lead for Michigan over Bowling Green.
Safe for us here in the booth, but we're comfy where we are, so we'll get back to calling baseball and relaxing in here on this beautiful day in Ann Arbor, about 55 degrees, minimal wind. A lot of fans out there in shorts today, it appears, I think, and
I don't know about shorts, but there's some short sleeve shirts out there. I'll tell you that much.
I'm searching hard.
Yeah, it's one of the warmer days we've seen in a few months. I'll tell you that much. It's a nice sign to see summer coming.
It is always welcome when the skies are blue, and it doesn't mean 20 degrees of negative 5-degree wind chills.
Yes.
Always welcome in Ann Arbor. Spring coming. While the official date is the 22nd to transition to spring, we'll have to see whether that is the case. Projected to snow within the next few days, but hopefully that'll be the last one. Getting back to the actual baseball on the field during this lovely day that is absolutely fit for baseball. We have a 1-1 count now on Ako Thomas, the leadoff hitter. Gets to 2-1 now following a miss inside by Anderson.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day here for baseball. You know, the start of the season for the Wolverines really shows that now the good weather's coming. So you know, you love to see more baseball, and you know that means good weather. So it's a double win pretty much for seeing the Wolverines out there in the field.
And if the score holds for the Wolverines, that good weather and good play will go hand in hand. An excellent string of days, the past 2 days and including this one, for the city of Ann Arbor and the Wolverines on the baseball field with those 2 wins and leading today. Thomas to center field. That ball's going to drop in front of Wilson, who looked like he wanted to lay out, but for some reason did not, despite the right fielder Scott hustling in to potentially field any ball that got past him. But with that, Thomas will now reach first base, the perennial stolen base threat as a leadoff hitter. Now 2 for 3 on the day.
Yeah, and that's three more times on base there for Thomas, including the walk. So this man is an on-base machine. He yesterday he did go 0 for 5. Did get on base once with a walk though, so to keep that on-base streak going. But the day before, 3 times on base. Here he's on for the 3rd time. This guy is always on, very fast. Just a great guy to have at the top of your lineup.
And into the box now, the sophomore Dom Clemente from Heartland, Wisconsin. A little bit down the road from Dragani's hometown. The 0-0, a fastball up and a little outside. Not quite a pitch out, but the catcher did stand up. No check to first base, however.
Yeah, it's interesting how I feel like all the times A.K. Thomas has been on base, they really haven't been checking in too much with him. And when Engelman's been on base all 3 times, they've really been looking and throwing over multiple times with each at-bat. Well, and then...
And right... As the announcer's jinx, right on cue, the throw over to first base by Anderson, checking on Thomas, who had a pretty sizable lead just past the cut of the grass. The 1-0 now picked over again. It's crazy how that works.
Yeah, I think they might have heard me up here in the box. Now it seems they only are concentrating on A.K. Thomas and not really paying attention to Clemente at all, which goes back to what I was saying earlier about Matthew Schmidt and Jonathan Engelman on first base, where take advantage of him, Anderson not really paying attention to you at the plate, maybe make a mistake.
Bowling Green coach Danny Schmidt in his 28th year, paying attention to the right set of broadcasters, and on cue, Thomas tries to steal a chopper up the middle, hit and run by Clemente. The ball fielded up the middle, thrown to first just wide, taking the first baseman off the bag, and the ball gets by him. With that, Thomas, who had the head start, will advance to third base. Clemente on first, runners on the corner, no outs. The Wolverines looking to strike while the iron is hot.
Yeah, so that was a little grounder that popped way up in the air. Anderson tried to get under it, but he couldn't get his feet set really. So he had one left foot kind of pointed towards second base, and the right foot pointed towards third base, sort of, and tried to just chuck it as hard as he could throwing from the side, and it just overthrew the first baseman Randy Ryder, and went back to the blue boards over behind first base, and A.K. Thomas easily able to make it over to third, and Clemente stays over at first on the kind of lucky hit and run because he barely even touched that ball, barely hit the top of the ball and was able to bounce it up just over Anderson's head and make him have a tough play with it.
And with a hit and run, it always seems like just putting the ball on the ground will do wonders for your team in terms of advancing runners and possibly scoring runs. And we see it right there, as you said, the weak contact is inconsequential because the Wolverines will get runners on the corners. A meeting now from Bowling Green, taking a little bit of time, and the umpire will come out to break it up. Not quite the end of the day for Anderson. However, the coaches in the dugout signaled to the bullpen for the reliever warming up to hurry up and get hot, as at 94 pitches now, Anderson has very much been extended. A solid day for him. Came into the day with an 8.49 ERA. Today he has gotten thus far a quality start, 6 innings, 3 earned. However, it could be tarnished right here by a good at-bat for Engelman.
Yeah, and the runner on first there, and if the runner on third does not score or would not have scored from second, then it will be an unearned run if he can get out of it. So the quality start could still be in place even with a run scored here. But still a great performance from Anderson so far, especially coming from where he's been the last few outings.
And with that, a first pitch slider hooked low and away from Engelman in the dirt, gloved by the catcher. Surprising he did not stick his body in front of it with a runner on third, but alas, a 1-0 count now, and the runners have held.
Yeah, and if you're Tyler Anderson, this is the last thing you want to have right now is first and third, no outs, and Jonathan Engelman up, the man who's been on base almost every time except for 3, I believe, in this series. He has been absolutely killing it so far, and he is going to put the ball in play. He's not a guy who strikes out very often. Oh wait, actually yes he is. My bad. He hasn't struck out very often this series, but he actually is leading the team in strikeouts. And so I guess if you're Engelman now, you just want to put the ball in play and do what you've been doing the whole time. Just find a way, get it up the middle, and produce a run here.
And now in a 2-0 count, Engelman with a chance to drive the baseball takes a hearty hack at a pitch right down the middle. Surprising with the first 2 pitches seeming to indicate a pitch around was in place from Bowling Green with a reliever warming up, maybe looking to load the bases, bring the infield in, set up the potential double play at the plate and at first base, but Anderson comes right down the middle with it, challenging Engelman, who fouls it off. A 2-1 count now to the junior.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised at that pitch, too. I mean, I don't think you should try to walk him, but you got to try to get the corners, and if you miss, you miss to this guy.
Anderson, a fastball, it appeared, low and away off the plate, but Engelman sticks out his arms and tries to slap at it, pulls it down the third baseline foul to bring the count 2-2, now in the position to strike out. As you said, he leads the team, but lots of that could be due to his high volume of at-bats, as the coaching staff wants him and his powerful bat at the dish as often as possible. Anderson now on the 2-2, comes set after checking at first base. Potential play on, and he'll step off the rubber, wary of the Wolverines sending Bullock, who is pinch running at first base. 2-2 now. Checks third. Bullock does go indeed, but a breaking ball, that slider that Anderson has relied so heavily on all day, strikes out Engelman, sends him back to the dugout, but not without Bullock reaching second base. He was gone on the leg kick.
Yeah, so, I mean, obviously you don't want to see the strikeout, but at least Bullock stole second base, which takes away the ground ball double play possibility. But now we do see the infield coming in. So if you're Matthew Schmidt right now, you got to try to put the ball in the air to produce a run here and extend this lead even more than just 3-1.
And visible frustration there from Engelman as he slammed his bat around the home plate area and walked back to the dugout. Now with the infield in, it appears Bowling Green will not intentionally walk Schmidt. However, I cannot blame them for not wanting to face Nwogu following his torrid start as he's been inserted into the lineup recently to reinvigorate this Wolverines offense. Schmidt now at the plate, the 1-0 count after the slider miss, low and away, as you said. Infield in with 1 out. A reliever still getting hot in the bullpen. Here comes Anderson to the plate. Fastball down the middle, fouled back off the netting and into the Bowling Green dugout.
Wow, that was a little too good of a pitch, I would say, to Matthew Schmidt. I mean, he's not a great hitter, only batting .222 coming in, but you can't throw him right down the middle in a second and third and 1 out. I was thinking they'd try to go around him a little bit, make him swing, maybe had a couple pitches on the corners, but they either missed or they did not have a good call of pitches there because that pitch was right down the middle, and Schmidt fouled it straight back, and that could have been some big-time damage there for the Wolverines.
And despite the success of the slider, the Bowling Green did not choose to go back to it 1-0 after missing it with it outside. 1-1 now, a fastball up and in near the head again. Not that close to grazing Schmidt, however, closer than he and the Wolverines would like. Player safety always an issue when balls are being thrown 90 miles an hour near people's heads. 2-1 count now to Schmidt. Anderson about to throw his 100th of the day.
Yeah, and if you're Anderson, you don't need to throw him down the middle here. It's 2-1. If you walk him, you walk him. Don't pitch it right down the middle, and he doesn't.
And seemingly closer than the last pitch to grazing Schmidt. Anderson comes up and in again, 3-1 count. A great hitter's count for Schmidt, has the chance to be selective, and in the event he walks, the ever-dangerous Nwogu is waiting on deck.
And they're just going to put him on here. They're signaling for the intentional walk. This probably will... Oh, that was got away from him, the intentional walk. They got to take him out here. Anderson's losing the control. Bases loaded, 1 out. I think it's time for him to go.
And it seems like after those 2 pitches before where he missed near the head, a true penchant for missing up and arm side, as on the intentional outside pitch to walk the batter, he missed basically over the middle of the plate, shades of the Miguel Cabrera at bat from a few years ago, where that happened, and Cabrera slapped a single into the outfield. But
I was actually thinking of the exact same thing right at the time. I mean, at the Miguel Cabrera thing, the guy missed low, but this was missing high, and I was thinking a little lower, and maybe you could have chopped at it, done something good with it, but.
To a big power-hitting righty, a fastball that is lobbed in at around the letters provides a great chance for some lift. The wind blowing a little bit out there. It seems like it's blowing in based on some of the reads we've seen in the outfield. So Schmidt content to get to first base and bring up Jordan Nwogu, who has been mashing baseballs this weekend and this season. The first pitch, Anderson staying in surprisingly, despite a righty warming up in the bullpen. It would be that same right-on-right matchup, but I guess Bowling Green is willing to ride with their guy who has been effective for the most part today. The first pitch, a slider missing low and in.
Yeah, I don't know why they're doing this, really. I mean, even the one strike he had his last at-bat, I would say he missed by having to go right down the middle. I don't think he was trying to aim there anyways. And now he's 2-0 here as he pitches one way low and outside here to Nwogu. Anderson, the gas is running out here. He's thrown over 100 pitches now. You got to get this guy out of there before the more damage is really done. Right now it's a manageable game, 3-1. If you're Bowling Green, you got to get this guy out before a big hit comes.
And he leaves one down the middle, and there is that big hit. Water comes splashing out of the Michigan dugout, and 2 runs come around to score a 2 RBI single in the 5-6 hole for Jordan Nwogu. The Wolverines go up 5-1, and Anderson, who the past few pitches has been visibly struggling with his mechanics, either flying too much with his arm side or bringing his flying off too much to his glove side, or bringing his arm into a lower slot and dragging the ball across the plate, really gave up on that one and left it down the middle for Nwogu, who mashed it by Daughtry and Lambert to put the Wolverines even further ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like, especially there for Anderson, he was missing a bunch, so it looked like almost trying to guide it right down the middle so he could actually pitch a strike. And when you're in Nwogu, you're killing it right now. You're so hot. If you're just going to try to guide one right down the middle, he's not going to miss that one, and he crushed it. He hit it very hard. It was a ground ball in the hole, but he put a good piece on it and did what he had to do, and 2 runs score, and Anderson is completely out of gas, and stayed in, I would say, 2 batters too long. But finally, it looks like they're getting him out of there now.
And you can see this team greatly enjoying themselves. Winning will always do that, but just bringing a more positive attitude in the dugout on Wednesday. Coach Bakich and the players talked about how they just seemed dead in the dugout. They seemed disinterested, like they didn't care, like the world had been totally turned upside down. But today, reminiscent of high school baseball dugouts with the enthusiasm they've brought, a shower effectively occurred. Now, despite the clear skies, we weren't expecting any rain, but it looked like someone in the back of the dugout threw water from a Gatorade cup straight up. It came showering down on the Wolverines in the dugout as they could tell 2 were about to score. Not quite as exceptional as the shower last night that John Beeline and Jordan Poole received in the locker room, but this will have to do. The Wolverines look energized, ready to go, and excited to be out here playing baseball today.
Yeah, it's a you mentioned the John Beeline thing here. It's a great weekend for the Michigan Wolverine athletic program. 2 wins in basketball, including, I don't even know how to describe that win last night. That was one of the most wildest things, and as a student at the University of Michigan, definitely one of the more exciting moments I'll ever have here, and one moment that me and I'm sure everybody else will remember for the rest of our lives. And then you go and you got Michigan baseball, looking pretty good here to sweep Bowling Green in the 3-day weekend series here. So it's things are looking up, right, or looking down, I guess, for Michigan these past few days.
And an added sign, as the offense has struggled a lot early in this year, the offense swinging the bats well, 10 hits today. They haven't really been aided by errors and that many walks from the Bowling Green side of the baseball, in addition to the success in men's basketball and baseball. The women's basketball team won a game Friday night against Northern Colorado. They play tonight, I believe it is against Baylor. The Michigan women's softball team was in Oxford, Ohio at the Miami Invitational Tournament. They swept through the weekend. I believe they've now won about 15 straight games, so it is definitely great to be a Michigan Wolverine this weekend.
Hail to the victors valiant.
And now on the mound is Damon Egner, a 1.86 ERA on the season across 9.2 innings of work, delivers the first pitch outside to Nelson to bring the count to 1-0.
As it stands right now, 5 runs. He's still responsible for all the runners that are on base on first and second.
Nelson, the the junior, misread that one, from Washington, came a long ways, but this is his first year at Michigan after transferring from South Mountain Community College. Played 2 years there, but now he is, as we are, proud to be a Michigan Wolverine. 1-1 count to him now with 1 out. Singles across the scoreboard up top. A single run scored by Bowling Green today.
Yeah, and to go off of pitcher Damon Egner here, he's 6'2", 223, right-handed pitcher, sophomore from Paulding, Ohio. He last year appeared in 13 games, made 1 start, 20 innings on the season, struck out 18 batters, record of 0-1. And his best outing would be a 3.1 innings of scoreless baseball against Central Michigan on April 23rd of 2017.
And on the third pitch of the at-bat, a breaking ball misses low and away, blocked in the chest by the catcher. The 2-1 now, fastball down the middle, 6-4-3, called out at first base. Tough luck for Blake Nelson, a fairly well-hit ground ball to the shortstop, but fielded cleanly by Lambert. A solid turn to Drews, who was a little slow getting rid of it as Nelson hustled down the line, but the umpire calls Nelson out at first as Ryder made a great stretch and gloved it for the final out of the 7th inning. Wolverines now leading 5-1 heading into the top of the 8th.
Yeah, and if you're Damon Egner, that's exactly what you want to do. You want to, make him roll over, hit a ground ball. As you said, he did hit it hard, but it was an everyday ground ball to the shortstop, where if you're a shortstop in college in the Big Ten, you're going to make that play. So he goes, I guess they're not in the Big Ten, but if you're a D1 college shortstop, you're going to make the play. So he ground ball right to him, 6-4-3, exactly what you could have asked for. 3 pitches there, and then he gets out of the inning. So good job there by the relief squad, Damon Egner, and here we go, heading into the 8th inning. Michigan Wolverines up 5-1.
And with that, the medium contact induced up the middle, a fairly easy ground ball for a plate to be made on, especially with the turf that delivers such nice and consistent hops. It makes you wonder, going back to your point earlier, why Bowling Green and Coach Schmitz didn't bring in the relief pitcher earlier, especially with Anderson struggling, nearing 100 pitches and eventually eclipsing that number and just looking not like the pitcher he was earlier in the game on the bump.
Yeah, it really doesn't make sense to me. Like you saw Anderson at the beginning of the game, you could tell he was killing it, and then right about the end of the 6th inning, he started to kind of lose it a little bit. Ended up getting out 6 innings, pretty much unscathed, and then start the 7th inning, and he just did not have it, and it was clearly didn't have it. And as a coach, if you're Schmidt, you got to realize this guy does not have it anymore. He's pitched 6 strong innings. I got to get him out of there, and he didn't do that. And so they paid for it. Now it's a 5-1 game, much harder than what the 3-1 game was coming into the 7th inning.
And now into the game for the Wolverines is Jack Weissenberger, the sophomore from Rockford, Michigan, a local kid. 4-time All-Conference in high school, 4-time All-District, region, and then 2-time All-State. Made the All-State Dream Team his senior year. Pitched sparingly last year, 4 appearances with a 3.18 ERA. Has already matched his total appearances number before this game. This will be his 5th on the season, and he'll be greeted by Cam Daughtry, the third baseman from Bowling Green, to start the top of the 8th.
Yeah, and in his last appearance, which was on Friday, he had he picked up the save there for the Michigan Wolverines. So already one nice outing here for Weissenberger. We'll see what he's got today.
And just like the offense, as this team has been struggling all year, very important for the bullpen to get things under wraps and get confident again, but that'll be tough with Daughtry singling up the middle. A hard hit ground ball and a questionable decision, to say the least, by Engelman, a Little League play, as we've seemingly had a few today, to come up throwing from center field. He might have seen Daughtry slowly coming out of the box, maybe thinking he'd round the base with the throw being into center field, but Daughtry went straight through, and Engelman one-hop Schmidt, a very odd play that will probably draw the ire of the coaching staff when he gets in at the end of the half inning, but that'll have to wait. On the first pitch, Weisenberger delivers a fastball outside, way outside, basically in the other batter's box to bring the count to 1-0 to the leadoff hitter, Neil Lambert.
Yeah, well, so in that at bat the last time, I like Weisenberger just throwing the ball down the middle, making Daughtry hit it there, because he really, his last outing, he walked 2 batters, struck out 2, but he wasn't really putting in his 2 innings. He needed to get more people hitting the ball. So I like it. Make him put the ball in play. You're 5-1 lead. No need to walk anybody, and make them beat you.
And speaking of putting the ball in play, Lambert, the shortstop who made the great defensive play last inning to cap the inning, hits a line drive into left center field. First and second, no outs for the Eagles.
Yeah, that was a good piece of hitting right there. Weisenberger has fastball low and away to the lefty, and he reaches out and just hits the line shot over the shortstop's head into left field. Great job there. Now you're first and second, no outs, and now it's time to start worrying if you're Michigan. Got to make some good pitches here. Don't really worry too much about the run on second. Just try to get a ground ball, hopefully double play, and but what you really need right now is outs. You got a 4-run lead. You're just trying to get 6 more outs in this game. Bring this one home. So just make them. You got to pitch some strikes, but make them beat you and look for the ground ball.
Now the first pitch to the number 2 hitter, Jeff Scott, the right fielder. Weisenberger, a breaking ball, expecting the bunt. Breaking ball is incredibly difficult to bunt. A little bit of a curveball slider hybrid down the middle of the plate. Bunted, foul by Scott, the baseball now being replaced. And for Weisenberger, at 6'3", 215 pounds, an incredibly powerful delivery to go along with his sturdy and powerful frame. Really supplies the power for the hitters, and we've seen it in these past 2 at-bats with Bowling Green players taking nice, easy strokes and letting the ball ricochet back off their bats because of the speed it's coming in at.
Yeah, and we saw he just tried to pretty much bunt for a base hit there, did Scott. So I think they might have given him one opportunity to do that, and now a sacrifice, which they did not do, as Scott was not bunting, and it was fastball low and away. But I guess they gave him one opportunity, try to bunt for a hit. Worst case scenario, if you get it down, it could be a sacrifice. Now they're just going to let him swing it for free, it seems.
The 1-1 count now to Jeff Scott. Weisenberger comes set in the stretch, looks back to second. Thomas fake breaks. The pitch down the middle, a little bit high, fouled into the Bowling Green dugout. That power from Weisenberger on full display as a pitch down the middle jammed Scott, the 254 hitter, who has a single on the day already but could not advance further than second base.
Yeah, I mean, you said it right there. That was a fastball right down the middle, and he couldn't even get that anywhere over the plate. He was so late on it, barely fouled it off far right side, and that was a good pitch to hit.
And now on 1-2, a fastball that misses high. The catcher, Keener, didn't necessarily set up high. Seemed to be more on the outer half of the plate. And a miss there from Weisenberger to bring the count now to 1-2. Had one to waste. Could be setting up the curveball right here. We saw it on that first pitch. Great pitch to mix and match with the fastball up high, but we'll have to wait as timeout is called at the plate by Jeff Scott. Scott back into the box. Weisenberger gets back on the rubber, looks in, gets his sign, comes set. Looks towards second once. Holds back to first. To the plate and hits Keener in the head. Did try to go to that curveball that was mentioned before in the strategy, but clunks Scott up high and puts all the ducks on the pond, loading the bases. And out comes a Michigan coach to talk to Weisenberger, who is struggling with his, not necessarily struggling with control, but on a vital pitch, struggled with his control, catching Scott in the head and creating a very problematic situation here for the Wolverines.
Yeah, well, I mean, the hit by pitch, it's nothing new here. We've been seeing a lot of that today in this whole series, but, this
payback maybe.
Perhaps. With the curveball especially, curveball right in the back. That's got to be what it is. But So this makes you think, why did they take out Ben Dragani? What did they do that for? He had 72 pitches. He was killing it. Very, very quick innings. It was very easy. It was 1 run in his first start. Why not let him go another? See what happened. If you got in any trouble, you can bring in Weissenberger. But why would you take a guy who has not had many pitches and who's killing it out there and just go with somebody else and just change the momentum of the game? I don't really understand why they would do that.
And that's going to be a ground ball, hard hit past the diving Nelson into the left field corner. And in left field, Nwogu struggles a little bit to pick it up, but he finally gets it into the diamond, but not before 2 runs can score for Bowling Green. Runners now on second and third with still nobody out, and we get back to that point with Dragani pitching so well, so effectively, so quickly, short innings, attacking the strike zone, and really making these Bowling Green hitters look foolish despite them putting the ball in play. No walks whatsoever. And Weisenberger has come in, and things have not gone according to plan. Slowly walking out of the dugout now is Bakic, and he cannot be satisfied with this performance. Calls for the lefty from the bullpen. We'll see who we're getting in a second, but for now, a tense moment for the Wolverines with Bowling Green looking to strike even more.
Yeah, I really don't understand the pitching change. It we didn't mention it really when it happened, just because Michigan was playing
secure.
So well. Yeah, it felt like it was an easy win there.
And getting back to his performance the other night, he had thrown well despite the walks, showed an ability to battle back, but now...
Yeah, now he had 2 innings, no hits. He had 2 Ks as well. He had the 2 walks, but, I mean, now it was a disastrous performance here for Weisenberger. You hate to see that. But, if you're Michigan, you still got a 2-run lead. Yeah, you got runners on second and third and nobody out. So... You got to try to find a way to minimize the damage here. Hopefully only let none or 1 runs in, and then go bat in the bottom of the 8th and get some insurance runs. But I mean, you got to find a way here to get out of this if you're Michigan.
And following the Wolverines coming out fairly somberly to greet Weisberger as he came off the mound, although greeted by a slow and somewhat quiet clap by the fans. On the first warm-up pitch, the new pitcher, the lefty, William Tribuker, threw a ball about 54 feet and sent it way to the backstop. He was looking a little wild in his warm-ups, and this cannot be a promising sign for the Wolverines. Now, granted, from experience, my warm-ups tended to go exactly the opposite of how I threw during the game, but it's never a thought-pleasing sight when the pitcher starts throwing balls to the backstop. Tribuker settling down a little bit as his warm-ups progress.
Yeah, a couple words here on William Tribuker. He's a junior, left-handed throw-up pitcher from San Clemente, California. So they produce good baseball talent out there. 6'3", 200. Last year as a sophomore, made 21 appearances, 1 start. Had a 2.63 ERA through 37.2 innings pitched, so definitely a good year last year for Tribuker. So hopefully he can carry that one over to this year and especially this game, as we need to stop some damage here. So we'll see what Tribuker's got here coming up in a second as Randy Ryder steps up to the plate.
And Tribuker struggled a little bit his freshman year in 23 appearances, but the following year bounced back with a 2.63 ERA on this year so far in 4 appearances. A 2.53 ERA. Actually started 1 game, but his other 3 have come out of the bullpen. San Clemente High School, actually the high school of potential top pick Sam Darnold, as Tribuker leads with a fastball on the outer half for ball 1 against the number 4 hitter, Randy Ryder, the first baseman for Bowling Green.
Yeah, Ryder 1 for 3 today. One of the better hitters here for this Bowling Green team. Batting .274 in the season.
Ground ball, slow roller picked up by Blomgren. Throws high to first base. Schmidt dragged off the base. Schmidt shrugs a little bit. The umpire in disbelief, kind of staring him down, hands on his hips, head hanging a little bit as Bakic comes hustling out of the dugout to have a word with the first base umpire following that play. A solid play by Blomgren to pick the ball up, but didn't lower his arm slot enough to keep the ball low, let it sail on him a little bit, and Bowling Green now has first and second, no outs, and their number 5 hitter at the dish.
Yeah, if you're Blomgren there, I get it. It's a kind of a rough throw. He was running towards first, so he had to kind of chuck it while on the run. But so for Matthew Schmidt, I mean, you got to keep your foot on the bag. Maybe he thinks he kept it on the bag. I couldn't tell necessarily whether he did or didn't, but it was definitely pretty close. He dragged it a little bit off, but the ball was not that far to the left of him. He could have easily stretched out more. He just tried to reach with it with both of his feet for some reason. And if you're first baseman Matthew Schmidt here, you can't do that. You got to reach out with one hand, keep the foot on the bag, make it not even close. And let's see if the replay review. It's really hard to tell with the replay review. But you can't even make it that close if you're first base Matthew Schmidt.
And unfortunately for the Wolverines, no replay review this early in the season. And with a runner crossing the plate, the home plate umpire, his attention focused there. With a runner approaching second base, the second base umpire was focusing his attention there. So it really was the onus of the first base umpire. And unfortunately for the Wolverines, there is no way to overturn that call despite Bakic's best pleas. An excellent bunt by Drews up the line, just firm enough to give the third baseman pause. The pitcher, Tribuker, takes an awful angle to the baseball, seemingly no communication. Granted, we cannot hear them from up here, but both players retreated at the same time, figuring the other had it. That's the third baseman's ball if it's hit hard to come get.
Yeah, Tribuker did not have a play on the ball. That was just too good of a bunt, and it was kind of more towards in between second and third, but hit hard enough where Tribuker could not get the ball. So third base, Blake Nelson has to get that ball. Tribuker was on his way to third base, but Nelson just stood at third base, and then finally, when it was too late, went over to go pick up the ball from in between short and third.
And in a seemingly obvious bunt situation, a surprising choice by the Wolverines to not run a front runner coverage where the third baseman and first baseman both crash hard. The shortstop rotates over to cover third, and because they didn't choose that play, the Wolverines are now left with the bases loaded against them. No outs in the inning, still 3 on the board already for Bowling Green, only trailing by a run after that last half inning where the Wolverines seem so in groove, so energized, and now Tribuker is going to have to work himself out of one heck of a jam.
Yeah, I was surprised at the play that the defense made there too for Michigan, especially with the amount of times that we've seen Bowling Green try to bunt and be successful in bunting. They've had a great small ball game. So why would you not have Blomgren run towards third so that you don't have to have this problem where pitcher and third baseman are kind of confused as to who's doing what? Blomgren was nowhere to be seen. He was over at second base, not even part of the play. So it's the two guys, and then it was a great bunt as well. So it's hard to know, even if Nelson gets that ball, if he can flip it over in time to third base to Tribuker. But I think it's a bad play there, knowing that they're probably going to bunt.
And now a 3-0 count to Suntken with the bases loaded. You really have to come at him here. Tribuker, a pitch, catches the up and away corner. Maybe a little bit of pity from the umpire's perspective. Never pretty to see runs being walked in, especially in a close baseball game in the 8th inning. But for Tribuker's sake, a not lucky call necessarily, but he does get to 3-1, has to come right at the hitter again. Puts it down the middle, and it is now fouled back off the netting above the Bowling Green dugout to bring the count full.
Yeah, that was a very lucky call that he got on that 3-0 pitch. It was high and away, and hasn't been calling that pitch all day. And for some reason, Steven Linton decided to throw up the fingers and call that one a strike. I don't really understand why. And then that next pitch was kind of outside too, but it was tapped at by the batter.
And with the pressure on, 3-2 pitch, fastball, same spot as the 3-0, swung through by Ty Suntken to give the Wolverines the first out of the inning. Tribuker and the team now one step closer towards working their way out of a bases-loaded, no-outs jam.
Yeah, and Tribuker gave it a little fist bump there at the end because, he needed that one. That was huge for the Wolverines. Bases loaded, nobody out, up by 1. Now you got a double play possibility to end this still on top. That was the biggest pitch of the game by far for the Wolverines, and you could see it in the eyes of and arm of William Tribuker.
And now the Wolverines are one pitch away. A ground ball double play would get them out of the inning, as stepping into the box is number 40. Excuse me, wrong roster. There is no number 40.
41.
Oh, excuse me, 41.
Anthony Smith.
Excuse my eyesight. Anthony Smith, the junior from Conroe, Texas, into the box, pinch hitting for Mott, who, as we were saying earlier, has struggled on the season.
And Mott was also a late-time ad. He wasn't even supposed to be in the lineup. And then about 30 minutes before game time, they were like, you know what, we're putting this guy in the lineup. So I don't know if he was ready to go. Didn't look too good today. But, yeah, so the late addition has now been taken out of the game in favor of infielder Anthony Smith.
0-1 count. Now a fastball that'll miss outside, bringing the count to 1-1. Trabuker battling out there despite the adversity that was brought upon him by the previous reliever. The 1-1 count. Not much attention being paid to the base runners by Trabuker. The pitch outside in the other batter's box, but it's going to be reached at and swung at by Anthony Smith, who fouls it back. Kids in the stands heading out into the parking lot to possibly retrieve the baseball. A welcome sight at any baseball game, but for the Wolverines, the welcome sight here will hopefully be a strikeout to get the second out, as Trabuker now comes set after getting his sign from the catcher. The 1-2. Fastball up and away in that same spot that the last batter was struck out on, and Trabuker powers the fastball by Anthony Smith, who looked powerless at the plate, swinging through a difficult pitch.
Yeah, and if you thought that last fist bump was big, you should have seen his face this time. Wow, Trabuker really said some expletives there and really wanted to let this catcher know how great that one felt for him, because that was another huge strikeout, and he is pumped now. And I would not want to be the batter in the batter's box here, because he is on his game right now and ready to go.
And now not quite sure what that one was. Seemed to have a little bit of glove side run from the lefty, maybe a slider, but it looked a little bit sharper, possibly well thrown, as you said. Trabuker is absolutely locked in. You can see it with the fist pumps. Hopefully in our coverage Tuesday, we can get one of these guys mic'd up to add a little flair to the broadcast, but for now we'll just have to guess. The 1-2,
0-1.
Excuse me, thank you. The 0-1 pitch blocked in the dirt by Keener. A great job to throw his body in front of it as the breaking ball was in the other batter's box. A quick action by him to get it in the chest protector, keep the ball in front of him, and keep the runner at third. The 1-1 count now from Trabuker. Fastball mostly down the middle, a little bit high, fouled back off the netting above the Michigan dugout, and now, despite being in a bases-loaded, no-outs situation, William Trabuker now has a chance to strike out the side following that early inning catastrophe and keep the Wolverines ahead in this ball game.
And the fans are starting to clap in favor, try to really rally Trabuker here to get this last out. You got a couple fans that were standing, but everybody's kind of tired, so nobody stood, and then those guys stood back down. So.
It's an early season game,
yeah,
so
exactly.
Maybe the fans are a little reluctant, but they should be on their feet now, as all the Wolverines from the dugout are now. The Michigan team comes flying out of the dugout, hopping the rails to greet Trabuker, who struck out the Bowling Green batter to end the inning and do the seemingly improbable hold the one-run lead for the Michigan Wolverines heading into the bottom of the eighth, striking out the side with the bases loaded and no outs. Pressure-packed situation for Trabuker, but he does not back down, and that fist pump got exponentially larger, deeper, more powerful, whatever we want to call it up here, but it is a welcome sight to see for his Michigan teammates and coaches.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Trabuker and Brock Keener looked kind of like Jordan Poole and Mo Wagner is what they looked like. You got
Trabuker didn't start running to right field,
he
though.
didn't start right. Brock Keener did start running. He was just galloped over there to Trabuker to greet him. They hugged. So I guess, there was some contact, unlike last night's events, but
a well-earned bear hug.
Oh, they were so happy. It looked like they won the World Series there for a second. The entire team was happy, but especially Brock Keener and Trabuker realized how great of a last three batters that's been. Locked in, ready to go, and I've never seen a kid so excited to get 3 outs in the 8th inning of of a college baseball.
The 10th game of the season, nonetheless.
Yeah,
Now, if you're
exactly.
watching that in Omaha, absolutely,
Yeah.
you can understand as a fan. You're probably fist pumping too. Shoot, the broadcasters might even be fist pumping at the pitching excellence. Always a great sight to behold. Pitching and defense, a baseball classic and tradition. Always a welcomed sight. But for the Wolverines, they'll now be looking to add some insurance as the 7-hitter Miles Lewis steps into the box. 0 for 8. Tripping myself up, I'm going too fast, but 0 for 2 with a sacrifice fly to the center fielder, that number 8 position on the diamond. That's where I was getting myself, but the lefty will step into the box now. 0-0 count, hoping not to get himself in trouble and hoping to lead off the inning with a good result. First pitch, fastball, up and way away. Probably would have hit a righty in the head, as we've seen a few times, unfortunately, today from both sides.
Yeah. Well, if you're Michigan here, especially, you want to get some more runs because the bullpen has not been good all year. The bullpen has not been good today, and you got to try to add on a few more here before you get to the 9th and have to deal with a 1-run game with your average bullpen.
And on the 1-0 count, Egner keeps firing, delivers a fastball down the middle, floated fairly lazily into center field by Lewis, but it keeps carrying. However, Jake Wilson is there underneath the baseball to secure the first out of the inning for the Eagles. Stepping into the box now is a pinch hitter.
No, I think it's Brock Keener. That's who it is. Yeah.
Never mind. Switch hitter Brock Keener. The B on the score sheet threw me off. Used to seeing an S for switch hitter. And Keener is used to seeing good pitching playing in the Big Ten. However, these Bowling Green Falcons, a MAC opponent, I was calling them the Eagles earlier. My aunt actually went there. I'm not really sure what was going through my head. It's something about the birds, and it threw me off. Nonetheless, a 1-1 count now to Brock Keener.
Yeah, and Brock Keener is looking like Brock Keener the first at-bat and not the last two because he's just waving over at pitches and missing them. Does not look very good at that fastball on the middle. That didn't look very good either. Ground ball, foul down the right field line, and what looked like a fastball right down the middle again. So Keener's really got to stop his little no-leg, just roll over the ball. That doesn't really give him a chance to, get a hard hit. His last two at-bats, he's looked good, staying on the ball, hitting it hard. One time you got unlucky with the great play by a shortstop, Neil Lambert. The other time you got a base hit, but you can't just stay up and roll over.
And now on the 1-2 count, a breaking ball left low and outside to Keener, bringing the count to 2-2 with 1 out, nobody on for the Wolverines in the bottom of this 8th inning. And getting back to what you were saying, you'd expect a more invigorated at-bat from Keener following the great play by his teammate, and now he'll roll a fastball seemingly down the middle again over towards the first baseman, rolled over his hands, and that'll be the second out of the inning as Ryder took it himself.
Yeah, I mean, I could have told you that was going to happen. Either a strikeout or a ground ball right to the first baseman, based on the fact that he was pretty much his swing, the path the bat took was so towards first base that he could not have hit the ball anywhere besides first base. He was stepping out, he was rolling his hands over, used all arms. He had no chance. I don't understand how you can have such good at-bats, your past 2 at-bats, and then just go back to what you did your first at-bat and just give yourself no opportunity to put the ball and play hard. It just does not make sense to me.
And stepping into the box now is Blomgren, looking to atone for his error in the last inning that led to a few Bowling Green runs. The 1-0 count. Here comes the delivery from Egner. A pitch very inside, brushes Blomgren back a little bit. He'll turn out of the way, but will not get grazed by the pitch. Count now 2-0 to the freshman.
Yeah, he did have an error last time. It could have been a worse error for sure. And the fact that it's only the only error on the day for Michigan, that's a good sign. They've had a great fielding day. 4 runs for Bowling Green have all been on pretty good hard hit balls that they've kind of deserved to have. So it's not like Michigan's really given up. They're not really giving up any unearned runs, or Bowling Green's deserved all 4 runs that they've gotten.
The 2-1 count. The pitch to Blomgren, a fastball, a little bit under the letters, but it'll be recorded as a strike by home plate umpire Steve Linton. The 2-2 count. Deuces wild on the scoreboard. Egner comes set. Catcher setting up on the outer half. A slider chopper back to the mound. Blomgren
Wow.
took an odd approach to that one. Doesn't attack the baseball. Looked to lean back, but it seemed like he tripped a little bit, heading back up the hill. A tough task for any pitcher as he slides off towards the third base side. The ball probably did not care him on anything with the turf infield, but nonetheless, Egner cannot handle the baseball, and Blomgren will reach first on what is sure to be deemed an error for the Falcons.
Well, I'll tell you what happened there. So, Blomgren kind of stuck his bat out there, little hit, but it was off the end of the bat and it had so much spin. So it has a couple bounces, and then Egner's there to pick it up off the pitcher's mound, and then it hits the bottom of the pitcher's mound with the spin and just spins a little bit to the right. And Egner didn't even touch it. I would actually call that a hit because it was just the spin of the ball that kind of got away from him. By the time Egner was able to pick it up at the center of the mound, Blomgren and his speed just was able. It was too late. He was already past first base. But I mean, Egner didn't even touch the ball because of the spin of the ball. So I would think that would be a hit, but they did call it an error.
And despite the 2-out single error, it was ruled an error in the scorebook, but for our sake up here, we can reward the Michigan players. We can call that one a hit as much as we would like, and we'll roll with that. A fastball on the outside corner to the leadoff hitter, Ako Thomas, looking to keep the inning rolling for the Wolverines. Add that ever-valuable insurance that we discussed before the inning began. The 0-1 count now from Egner. A fastball high, a similar spot to the last one, but possibly a bit more towards the outside half of the plate. A ball is called by the umpire.
Yeah, I mean that was pretty high. I mean, Thomas is a small guy, but that was way over his head. That was a clear ball here as they look back to first base to try to keep Blomgren close.
Egner now, after coming set, checks quickly on Blomgren. A not so lazy, but not totally intent throw over towards first base, just looking to keep him near the bag. Now the 1-1, Thomas on a pitch inside, a little late, slices his hands through the baseball, a lazy fly ball into shallow right field, secured by Scott, and will now head to the top of the ninth inning for the hopefully exciting conclusion between the Michigan Wolverines and the Bowling Green Falcons. A 5-4 lead for the Wolverines, heading in to the possibly final half.
Yeah, to critique Thomas's swing there. He's looked pretty good all day in terms of staying on the ball, hitting line drives, hitting it where it's pitched. On that one, that was kind of an inside pitch too, and he just dipped his back shoulder and kind of stayed inside out on the ball and just popped that one up to right field. So for a guy who's looked pretty good all day, didn't look great on that fly ball. But again, he's gotten on base 3 times today, got on base 3 times 2 games ago. You can't really argue with the production you've been getting from Ako Thomas.
And for the ninth inning, being rewarded for his excellent performance last inning, Tribuker comes back onto the hill. He actually started in Wednesday's game against NAIA Lawrence Tech, the game the Wolverines dropped to the dismay of the players and coaching staff. But in the game, Tribuker threw very well, actually. 5 innings, 1 run, not earned, 4 strikeouts, 1 walk. Only gave up 3 hits across the 5 innings, and it'll be interesting to see if his either velocity or mechanics start to wane in this final inning. Maybe a little bit of fatigue, but based on that last inning, he seemed fine. Tribuker now looking to close things out for the Wolverines. A pinch hitter into the box. The 9-hitter Daughtry, a 176 hitter, being pinch hit for.
Looks like Riley Minoric.
Now Minoric, the junior infielder from Akron, Ohio, the home of the LeBron James.
Yeah, and if I'm Minoric, I'm coming in here and I'm thinking, all right, I got to get to this guy early because the way that Tribuker's been pitching, if he gets in front of you right now, he's just going to overpower. He's been so dominant this past inning that I think if he has a little bit of momentum, he's just going to ride that for the rest of this game. So I'm thinking early and often here for Bowling Green.
And speaking of overpowering, Tribuker fires an 0-0 fastball on the outer half of the plate, but followed it up with a fastball. As you said, he looked to put a little more oomph on it to attack the batter and put him away, but flails a little bit on the mound and leaves it way up and away. Now the 1-1, a fastball on the outside corner, seemingly in the same spot as the first pitch where a strike was granted, but nonetheless a ball, bringing it to a 2-1 count.
There was also a fastball up and away that almost got back to the screen. So it is actually a 3-1 count, and Trabucar's got to come up with a strike here, which he doesn't.
And Trabucar, despite his heroics last half, gives Bowling Green life and breathes some air into their lungs. A lead-off runner, always dangerous. I believe the stats are about 60% or so of lead-off walks come around to score, but hopefully for the Wolverines, this will be one of those 40% instances as Trabucar takes a little time on the backside of the rubber, gathers his thoughts, takes a few deep breaths, and gets back on the rubber looking to attack the leadoff hitter, Nick Lambert, who singled in his last at-bat. A bunt shown and fouled backwards. Looked like it almost caught the hand of the catcher, Keener. He flared his hand quickly backwards when he saw the ball hit the bat and was lucky to get it out of the way. Those fingers are always in a dangerous position behind the plate when you're looking to get out quickly and field the bunt. An 0-1 count, however.
Yeah, I mean that walk is the worst thing you can have if you're a Trabucar in Michigan. At least for Weisenberger, he made him earn it and get solid hits. Like, you can't just let them have the leadoff runner in a one-run game. You gotta throw strikes, make him earn it. Trabucar's been overpowering anyways, so he's not likely to get a hit. So you can't do it. Now they're trying to bunt with the top of the lineup coming on. The guy is a pinch hitter too, that you walk to lead off the ninth. So just a horrible job there by Trabucar, especially coming after such a dominant performance to walk the leadoff batter and now or the leadoff pinch hitter and now get the top of the lineup up with a guy who can handle the bat very well in Neil Lambert.
As you were saying, it wasn't as though it was the regular 9-hitter. It was a man coming off the bench who has not gotten many at-bats this year, probably hasn't seen much live pitching, but Trabucar did not give him much of a chance to attack and get a hit. The 0-1, a fastball up and in. We have seen an incredible amount of close calls near the head. As I said earlier, a scary sight, but a 1-1 count now to Lambert as Trabucar recovers. Lambert shows bunt. It spins and hangs on the line for a little bit before spinning just foul, touched quickly by the catcher Keener before it can come back into play, and will do it all over again. A 1-2 count now to Nick Lambert.
Yep.
It'll be interesting to see if he still shows. It'll be interesting to see if Bowling Green is still incredibly intent on getting that runner to second. However, Lambert, a .319 hitter on the season, has the ability to drive the baseball, as we saw in his last at-bat. The pitch now, a curveball front door.
That was a great pitch. That was a wonderful pitch there by Trabucar. That froze him. That absolutely froze Lambert. It was a little breaking ball. It started kind of in. Lambert thought he'd be hit, I think, for a second. He kind of moved out of the way and then just went right back into the strike zone. Fooled him big time, and what a pitch for Trabucar, especially in the situation that he was in with runner on first and leadoff batter up with nobody out in the ninth.
And with all those fastballs near the head, Lambert had due cause for thinking it could catch him, but he will have to go back to the dugout. The first pitch now to Jeff Scott, a fastball high for ball one. Trabucar sets 1-0. A curveball goes back to it. That same front door pitch started a little more over the plate, but gets the same result. It didn't quite go off enough. 1-1 count. Now it froze Scott just like it did his teammate Lambert.
Yeah, that was a great pitch because it started at the letters and then it went down to the knees, still staying in the bottom of the strike zone. And just his curveball has been on here in these past few pitches.
And Trabucar working quickly goes back to that curveball that has been so successful for him recently, but leaves it in the dirt, smothered down low by Keener. 2-1 count now. Trabucar comes set after getting the signed fastball on the outer half. No love for the home plate umpire. It is tough as a lefty to get that angle coming across. The ball seemingly never crosses the plate, and the umpire did not give Trabucar the benefit of the doubt on that one. A 3-1 count and another dangerous situation for the Wolverines. Trabucar, following the tough not missed call necessarily, but the call that did not go his way. Recovers with a fastball down the middle, fouled back 3-2. And we now have a full count at the dish for Jeff Scott in a critical situation, runner on first. First baseman playing a little bit off the bag in front.
They're playing.
The pitch, 3-2, that same pitch as it was on 2-1, strike 3, no fist pump from Tribuker. I guess he used them all up in the last inning, but nonetheless, a strikeout for the Wolverines. Scott headed back to the dugout, and a huge out for the Wolverines as the Falcons are now down to their final chance at the dish.
Yeah, and they are playing no doubles right now as third base Blake Nelson is probably a foot away from that third base line. It's actually crazy how close he is. There's nothing going down that line right now past him.
And on the first pitch, yanked inside by Tribuker, but Croy will get out of the way. Croy 2 for 4 on the day, so the guy Bowling Green wants at the dish, hitting .333 on the season, the 1-0, a fastball. And to overcorrect for the last one, seemingly, Tribuker throws it up and away.
Yeah, now you got it. You got to throw a strike here. You can't go 3-0 on him. You don't want to put a runner on second. If the guy gets a hit, it's no big deal. They're playing no doubles, so it'll be first and second. But the last thing you want to do is walk in the game-tying run in scoring position.
And now on 2-1, hit cleanly to short, fielded by Blomgren, flips over to second, and the Wolverines come joyfully racing out of the dugout. The outfielders will converge to a little bit of a celebration a la Boston Red Sox and come to join the handshake line in the middle of the diamond. We're done here today. Michigan takes this one 5-4. That is it for the baseball, but we will give you a little bit of analysis. Jerry, what can the Wolverines look forward to in their next few outings based on their game today?
Oh, well, the game today just shows that they got in a little bit of trouble with, they started off nicely, got off to a nice 5-2 lead, got in a little bit of trouble with the bullpen, but you got that guy. William Tribuker came in, and he shut the door down. It was a tough situation, came in at second, or bases loaded, I believe, in a 2-run game, only gave up the 1 run, struck out the side, came up in the 9th, walked the first batter, and then shut the door after that. So that you still got relief pitching, especially with yesterday, where they had a great relief outing as well. So you got guys that can shut the door. You got guys you can count on. And then, with your main boy, Ben Dragani over here today, you got something special there, that's for sure. The guy goes 6 innings, or 7 innings, my bad. 6 Ks, I believe. 72 pitches, very efficient, pounding the strike zone, no walks. That's the biggest thing, in my opinion. I don't even think he had a 3-ball count the entire game. So you got the guy pounding the strike zone, really making plays for you out there. So in terms of pitching, you got those 2 guys you can count on after today. In terms of hitting, Jordan Wogu had a great series, 2 hits in every single game. He stayed hot. Ako Thomas staying hot out there. So you got those 2. Oh, and Jonathan Engelman as well, staying hot with a base hit. So you got those 3 guys who just killed the ball today. So things are looking good for Michigan after a rough start here. Won the last 3 games against Bowling Green. Now they have 4 more home games before they go back to Michigan State, which is pretty much another home game because it's 30 minutes away.
Well, they've actually added a game Tuesday. They'll be playing against Oakland. We'll have your coverage here, actually, on WCBN Sports.
I forgot they added 5 more. Wait, no. Wait. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, they have 3 more. 3 more home games, and then at Michigan State, which is pretty much an away game, and then it's today.
Is that? Yeah.
And then back home. So it's a good time to be home for Michigan. Weather's doing well, and with the good weather, I guess comes good performance from the Wolverines. So nice performance out there, and we just hope to keep this good play going for the next few games.
And good play indeed. Winning is always great for the team morale, and with the win today, the Wolverines pick up their 3rd in a row after that tough loss Wednesday against an NAIA school. But with that, they'll hope to carry that momentum into their next few games against in-state opponents Oakland, Western Michigan, and then the little brother up north, Michigan State. Always a fun game and formidable opponent. That's going to be it today from us at WCBN Sports. Adam Rich alongside Jerry Gusenberg right now. You were treated to Jeff Chan earlier in the day. We would like to thank you again for joining us today at Ray Fisher Stadium and wish you a great rest of your day.